What's up, guys? It's your mom's favorite rapper coming at you with another little workshop type thing. Basically, I'm here to give you a brief rundown on the genre of rap and show you some of the basics. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you how you can win a Yui Boom. Before we go into a little bit of a deeper history of hip hop, let me tell you how I got into it. Since I was super young, I always wanted to sing and perform. I grew up watching lots of Michael Jackson music videos, and I always just thought to myself, that's what I need to be doing with my life. But I didn't have the vocal chops to be Michael Jackson. Like, at all. So a few years into high school, a friend of mine shares a cover of Childish Gambino's 3005, covered by Australian artist All Day. And for no reason that I can tell you, that's the song that made me want to start rapping. And so I did. Very quickly delving into the culture and the genre with albums like Startup Cult by All Day, Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper, Because the Internet by Childish Gambino, and it just kept going on and on until it became the main genre that I listened to. Don't get me wrong, my first concert was still a One Direction concert. I kept that pop star dream alive. I then moved into producing, because look, I had no money to be paying other people for beats. And turns out, making your own is a lot cheaper. When I was 17, I released my first mixtape, and since then I've released one other mixtape and 8 singles. I've also got to play some pretty cool gigs. Opened for Tucker from Thundamentals. And one time I had pizza with Morat. So that's a little bit of my history of hip hop. But let's go back into the real history of the whole genre. Now, I'm in no way a scholar of hip hop. I'm just a hip hop artist who likes to watch a lot of documentaries. Hip hop started in New York, the Bronx to be exact, in around 1973. It all kind of started because people at these parties really liked the drum breaks of disco music, but not all of disco music. So, a DJ named DJ Kool Herc developed a technique where he could loop just the drum breaks over and over and over so people could just dance to the part that they like. He would have 2 turntables, one playing the drum break, and as soon as that one was about to end, he'd start the second one. So just keep creating this loop of danceability. So you're like, sick, cool, drum breaks, DJs. When's the rapping happening? Well, before the rapping was the dancing. The dancing on the break beats. The breakdancing. The rapping was like the last thing to come of it all. Initially, rappers started out as just MCs of the party. Like master of ceremonies, not like Cursor. Imagine a Cursor hosting like the Grammys. Like a wedding. They would essentially just talk over the beat. Hype up the breakdancers, hype up the crowd, be a hype man for the DJ. And over time, they started rhyming while they talked, and then it became rapping. Now this all stayed pretty local. The first instance of rap hitting the mainstream was the infamous single Rapper's Delight. Now I say infamous because yes, it did do very well, but among the actual growing community of hip hop, there were a few things that just didn't sit right. Firstly, it was recorded with a whole band, and the whole point of hip hop was to use the breaks. And to me, I think the worst part is that Big Bank Hank's whole verse was stolen. There are a couple reports saying Grandmaster Caz, also known as Casanova Fly, gave Hank the verse, but in an interview Caz did with Vlad TV, Caz claims Hank had a copy of the verse, memorized it, and then recorded it himself. And look, if you wanted just a little bit of proof that Hank didn't write the verse himself, here's an actual lyric from his songs. Moving on from that song, hip hop kept developing and the genre kept growing until it's now the biggest, most popular genre in the world. It overtook rock in like 2018. So obviously a lot changed since then. Flows and cadences got a lot more complicated, rhyme schemes got better and better, and more recently, melody started really creeping its way into rap. The genre that was originally just made for backyard dance parties has grown into so many different subgenres and took over the world. Now I know I skipped a lot from 1973 to 2020, but I'm not trying to make a full National Geographic David Attenborough documentary here. And here we see a wild little pump roaming his natural habitat. So now that we have a super brief history of the genre, let me give you a couple tips on rapping and performing. Firstly, people gotta understand what you're saying. I personally have horrible diction, so it's something that I actively work on. So here's a little exercise to warm up your mouth and face so you can rip through a multi-syllabic double-timed rhyme scheme. We're gonna use a line from my song Killamore featuring Young Buddha. So the line goes like this: like your neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. So what we need to do for this exercise, and I know it's gonna sound super weird, is you're gonna stick your tongue out and you're gonna hold it really gently. Make sure you're not pulling on it because you're gonna damage your tongue muscles. Hold it up, hold it, and you're gonna say the line 3 times. Ready? Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Alright, now we're gonna do the same thing, but also holding our nose. Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Now you can let go of your tongue and just hold your nose. Like your neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Like your neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Like your neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. And now that you can let go of your face, so your tongue and lips should feel a little bit more free, so you'll be able to dance around those lines a lot easier. Like a neighborhood Spider-Man, slap an enemy, stop acting like a child cause this ain't sesame. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now that our mouth is all limbered up, we're gonna do a little exercise on timing. So to do this, we're gonna rap, on beat, the words to this children's book. Shout out Samantha Warren, the author of this book, A Friend Like Mine. How this is gonna work is I'm gonna rap a phrase at you from this book, and you're gonna rap it back to me. I know it sounds super play school, but trust me, it helps. Do you have a friend who's just like mine? This is Fletcher, he goes fast, flying to the finish line. Do you have a friend who's just like mine? This is Fletcher, he goes fast, flying to the finish line. Alright, we're gonna do one that's like double time. Are you ready? Her fingers fly across the key, she types a word in braille. There is quite a brilliant story in that bumpy trail. Her fingers fly across the key, she types a word in braille. There is quite a brilliant story in that bumpy trail. Nice one. Alright, last one. Do you have a friend who has a twinkle in his eye? Fletcher can't speak using words but says more than you or I. One more. Do you have a friend who has a twinkle in his eye? Fletcher can't speak using words but says more than you or I. Sweet. Now we learn how to ride the beat. Our mouth is all limbered up. Get to songwriting. But, oh, I didn't say anything about how to write. Yeah, fair point. So when it comes to rap, rhyming is your friend. Your best friend. We love a good rhyme. And no, I won't tell anyone that you're using www.rhymezone.com to help find your rhymes. You might also get to a point where you've rhymed 12 things in a row and thought, maybe that's a bit much. So let's take a look at rhyme schemes. This is the first chunk of my song Mama. The first 2 and last line all rhyme, whereas the third line doesn't. This would be an AABA rhyme scheme. The last word in all of these lines all rhyme, so it would be an AAAA rhyme scheme. Really quickly, what's the rhyme scheme for this? Throw a thumbs up in the comment if you got AABCCB. Crazy. A nursery rhyme had a more nuts rhyme scheme than my songs. But a good rhyme doesn't make every line work. We also have to make sure our syllables fit. Have you ever tried to write a song and there just seems to be too many words to try and cram into a line? It's probably because there is. Don't be scared to cut out words or syllables to make the rhymes work. It goes the other way too. If you feel like you don't have enough syllables, maybe add a word or a grunt. Always works. In my song Mama, here are the lyrics that I wrote versus the one that I performed. You can see that I added the words been and got to keep the flow of the song moving and fluid. Alright, those are my little tips and tricks. See ya! You wanna know how to win the Yui Boom. Me and the City of Gosnells have teamed up to run a little competition. I'm gonna give you an open verse on my song Mama, and all you have to do is write and record yourself spitting over it. You can record it on your phone or your laptop or whatever you have available. To submit, just upload to Facebook or Instagram with the hashtag GosnellsMamaChallenge. The comp is open to you guys aged 10 to 18 and closes on the 20th of July. Myself and the youth and family teams will be personally judging this one, and I'm super excited about it. And don't worry if you can't write out the whole 16 bars. Just do as much as you can, and I'm sure it'll be sick. Okay, I'm actually all finished up now. Super excited to see all your submissions, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!